In the previous videos of this series, we learned how to work with clipping masks, add color variations by simply picking a different color from the color palette, and create a pattern swatch and then a pattern brush with our clipper images. In today's video, we will paint poppies! And we will learn how to add color variation using a dual color brush and the difference between using one or more layers when painting watercolors. As usual, we will start applying a paper texture. In this case, I am going to use the light recycled paper. As it is quite light, duplicate and merge the layers to make it more intense. Name it and lock the layer to avoid painting on it. Now create a layer on top and change the blend mode to linear burn. Now let's choose a dual color brush for painting a few poppies. I use a lot the cloudy dual color, but feel free to try the rest of them and use, for this exercise, the one you like the most, okay? We are going to pick the secondary color first because Procreate considers the primary color the last color we choose. So our secondary color will be this light orange and the primary will be red. Before start painting the flowers, perhaps I should explain what is a dual color brush, right? Well, a dual color brush is a brush that uses two different colors for painting. That's why we previously chose two colors instead of just one. The transition between those two colors depends on how the brush has been configured in the Brush Studio. For example, I made this brush to vary the color depending on pressure. When we apply low pressure, we paint in light orange, and as we are applying more pressure, the strokes turn red. See? Let's paint a petal, and you'll see how useful dual color brushes are for adding color variations in no time. Right now, I am applying low pressure. Now, without lifting the pencil, I will start adding more pressure to get red. As you see, I also set this brush to paint a more defined edge when we press hard and a softer edge when we press lighter. This is nice, right? Now I will duplicate this layer to show you the difference between painting all the petals on the same layer and on different layers. As you see, the colors look more contrasted and the edges are more visible in the right example. Let me go ahead and finish all the petals to see clearly the difference. Each petal should be on a different layer, okay? Let's tidy up our layers panel and group all the petals of the right flower. Now, let's paint the petals of the other flower. We have applied the same blend mode to all the layers, but the colors look different. Why is that? Well, because when we apply a blending mode to a layer, it will affect how it interacts with all of the layers beneath it. And we have applied a blend mode to all the petals layers, so the effect builds up. Also, while in the right example all the petals are well defined, we can clearly see all the edges, in the other some of the edges are blurry. That's because these and many other brushes are configured to pull paint. We can't pull paint if the paint is on a different layer, so that's why both flowers look different. Which one is better? Easy, the one you like the best. We don't need to have all the petals in separate layers, so let's flatten the group to turn it into one layer. It's time to paint the characteristic black part of the poppy's petals. Pick green. Yes, green. And the texturator brush. Swipe right on the layer to turn on Alpha Lock. Alpha Lock is used for the same as clipping masks, which is to paint within a shape. But with clipping masks, we make non-permanent changes because we apply paint on a different layer. And when we use Alpha Lock, we make permanent changes because we apply paint on the same layer that the shape is. Okay? The size of this brush should be quite big. Let's do the same on the other flower. We darken the area more and more each time we lift the pencil, and then continue painting. Now we are going to paint the stems, so we need to turn off the Alpha Lock mode to be able to add paint out of the boundaries of the flowers. The stem and the flower buds of this flower are hairy. I think we will continue using the same brush. This brush is pressure sensitive. The harder you press, the bigger the stroke. Right now I am applying very low pressure. If you find it hard to draw thin lines, decrease the size of the brush. Well, we can also erase the parts where we apply too much pressure, but it is not the recommendable thing to do. Let's use the transform tool to flip this flower and move it a little bit up so it does not overlap with the other. Create a new layer. We are going to paint more elements. How about a closed bud? Okay, I'm going to decrease the size of this brush. Did you know that the size we set on the size bar is the maximum size of the brush we are using? Most of the time we are too lazy to adjust it to the size we need. That's why we have a hard time controlling the width of the strokes we make. Create a new layer. We are going to paint a bud opening. The green part is done. Let's draw some petals. Where would you paint them? On the same layer or on a different one? If we paint the petals on the same layer, we will pull some of the green paint. See? And also, if we overlap layers of paint, the green part won't look good in my opinion. What we are going to do to avoid this and make this look nicer is to create a new layer underneath. Again, we have to decide if we want to paint all the petals on the same layer or on different ones. I will use different layers, but this is up to you, okay? We are going to paint here a subtle shadow. For that, we are going to use blue. As we are using a dual color brush, don't forget to change the secondary color too, okay? Let's decrease the brush size and apply low pressure. Okay, this element is done. So let's merge these layers. Select them and then pinch them together to merge them into a single layer. What else we can paint? How about a top view? Create a new layer, change the colors. Make sure you are using the cloudy dual color brush and start painting the petals following the same steps we took earlier. We can leave gaps. That's something that we do when painting with traditional watercolors, so it will give more realism to our piece. Turn on Alpha Lock, change the brush and the color. As you see, it looks lighter than in the other flowers, right? That's because this flower is less opaque than the other ones. If you want it to look darker, don't use Alpha Lock. For painting the pistils and the stamens of the flower, we will use a subtle damp dry old brush and a dark blue color. I think there is not enough contrast here. I will create a new layer underneath and try to make this look better. We have two options when we try to fix something. Create a new layer and continue painting on it, or duplicate the layer to make a backup. Turn off the visibility of the duplicated layer and then make the modifications you want. Let's move this up and see how it looks. How about applying a blending mode? I'm still not completely happy with how it looks. Let me play around with this a little bit more. As you see, not everything is always straightforward. Sometimes we have to make little modifications until we get what we want. But it's fine, it's part of the creative process, although it can be frustrating sometimes, right? I still think this flower looks lighter than the rest, so let's duplicate the layer and decrease the opacity a bit. Now this is too dark, let's turn it into a clipping mask. Too light, let's increase the opacity. Now it looks perfect! Yay! So let's merge the layers. Okay, select the texturator brush and green again. And let's make room for painting the leaves. Don't forget to create a new layer. Start drawing the leaf's central vein, applying very low pressure. Then, in a zigzag motion and applying more pressure, paint one leaf. Decrease the pressure to make the pointy tip. Go over the central vein again and repeat. are many ways to paint leaves. So let's make the next one differently. Okay, we have all the elements we need to create our next project. What do you think it will be? Another pattern? A greeting card maybe? I will give you a hint. We are going to use layer masks. No idea yet? Okay, another hint. We are going to use the text tool. Nothing? Okay, then it will be a surprise. See you in the next video. Bye!